All right. We just got into something real heavy just now. I'm about to tag Miss Love. Not y'all coming for me because I want to live in two separate households. Like, live.
The red flag took me out, girl.
I'm a red flag. Oh God.
It took me out. Listen, two separate households. No, ma'am.
No, for real.
No, ma'am.
All right. I'm just saying. It works for some people. I'm not a red flag. Stop playing me.
You giving us Aquarius a bad name, okay? A bad name.
Y'all.
But I get it. Like, sometimes
it's
good to have space, right?
Yeah.
It is good to have space, but I mean, when we're married, you gotta go off and have your day, and then as long as you're home at the end of the night.
I want to be able to miss you. And I feel like I'm not going to miss you that much if you right here all the time. So you go over there.
Listen, we're both Aquarius, and I don't feel like... You giving Aquarius a bad name.
My skin itches. Like, I don't need you here all the time. I don't want you here all the time.
Raven, you can, like, join us again if you want.
Yeah, I requested her.
Sonia, you need to get on here, too, ma'am.
And Sherry, like, she does.
Yes.
So.
And if Shannon comes back on, because Sonia's engaged, and so is my friend Shannon.
Sonia's engaged?
Yeah, Sonia been engaged. So we need a viewpoint from somebody who's in that position, about to get married, and things like that.
Ray done my
Did you send Sherry one? Because she over here talking about she don't believe in marriage.
I sent her one. She dubbed it. It said she wasn't able to join.
That is crazy. It'd be your own sister.
I think Ray's about to come on now.
Hi again, guys.
Yes.
Hello. Welcome.
I just sent Sherry an invite. So let's see what happens.
Dace and Catherine.
Wow, don't wave at me. I'm going to wave at whoever I want to wave at, Dace. You don't know me yet, but you will.
Hello.
Gang, 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 gang. Yeah, but we're together. Like, we got no behavior. I'm just like, y'all know that.
Y'all see how I'm looking right now? That's why I'm looking crazy.
Why do you know about this?
Oh, I could get a filter? Hold on, let me get a filter going on here.
Listen, you see it was giving me a nice little pink purplish glow at the bottom.
Blush.
Yes. She's cute. Hello. Welcome to the party. Not Queen Latifah. Don't talk about my sister like that, Kev.
You see Kev, right? I'm gonna punch him right in his face.
Yo, and this
talk about my damn braids.
Don't do it.
Their mouth too reckless. I have to remove y'all.
Sherry, get it together. Kick her off too. She's drunk. All right, Shy. So you're in the comments talking about you don't believe in marriage.
I don't. Y'all already know my viewpoint on marriage, relationships,
don't know
all
your
of that.
viewpoint.
I'm gonna be the angry black lady right now. Okay.
That is true, Dace. Time out. Tell Shari she needs to come back with me because we need to work out with Dace.
Tell Dace that's not what we talking about right now.
Dace is a personal trainer and he's awesome, and my body misses it. Okay, we need to go back.
I'm a personal trainer too, so and y'all never came and work out with me. So
I need you in my life.
Yeah,
Shay is a personal trainer too. Maybe we can all do a jam session because January comes up. And Lauren wants to be fun.
Here she go.
Christmas.
Here she go.
January
coming up. I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
January. Lauren is turning 31 and needs to go in.
Damn.
We just gotta check the weather, but I'm not mad.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I love y'all.
All right, Shari. So why don't you believe in marriage?
I've seen a lot of marriages around me fail. These men out here cheating on their wives. It's just it's like, what's the point? What's the point? The only reason I would get married is the paperwork, stability. I know if something happens, then I'll be
God.
secure.
If that wasn't reality check.
my kids will be secure. That would be it.
Literally.
What's the point? You gonna go out here and cheat on you gonna cheat on me whether we together in a relationship, or you gonna cheat on me whether we married?
I was about to say, if you with somebody that's gonna cheat, then what's the point
All
of a
men
relationship
cheat.
in the first place?
All men cheat. They all do at some point.
Some are just like reckless with it though. Like,
Yes.
if you're with, first of all, let me tell you, I don't condone nobody's cheating. That's let's get that let's get that straight before we move on, because I will be the first one.
Right.
What's that? I'm a ghost. Like, that would be me. Anyway, but if you feel like all men cheat, then what is the reason to even get into a relationship with that man, let alone get married?
What am I right now?
Okay. So you're telling me that if you find you're tall, fine, dresses well, has money, treats you like a princess, has a beard,
white teeth,
and he's like, Shari, I want you to be in a committed relationship with me, you're gonna be like,
no.
There'll be something wrong with him.
Okay, wait. I have two things to say.
I mean, I do agree that there's something wrong with it.
I don't believe all men cheat, number one. And if that's the case, all women cheat.
No, they don't. I'll take that back.
Okay, and number two, I'm not condoning any kind of cheating, but let's say that you're married to someone for 10 plus years, okay? And for whatever reason, you find out that they cheated on you like year 5 or something. You find out in year 10 that they cheated on you in year 5. That's absolutely, you're done, you're over, it's a wrap. Everything that we've built is done. These are real questions.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It really depends. If I was in that situation, I could really tell you. But it depends, because I know
men don't cheat.
Men do cheat.
Is it my Wi-Fi?
It depends with the woman too. Like, was it like a one-time thing, or was it like an ongoing situation?
You found out by mistake that
we
this person, your husband or whoever, cheated on you. Your partner cheated on you. You're year 10. You in the happiest, like, you know, everything's good, and then this bombshell that cheated on you 5 years ago. Do you get divorced, or do you?
5 years ago? I mean, see, that's the thing with marriage. Like, that's what we were talking about before. Like, our grandparents and our parents that were married for years, like, we don't know what they endured. But I feel like once you get into that committed marriage, you're going to have to figure out a way to work through it. Because if you're happy now and that happened 5 years ago, it's like,
oh my God.
What do you do? What do you do?
I dwell on it.
Now, if it's a habit where,
that's what I was saying. If it was like a reoccurring situation, or if it's a reoccurring thing with the same woman,
yeah,
that's the problem for me. If it was like, I don't know, because
there's a lot of factors you have to think about that. Like, maybe who was it with? You know, if it was really just a one-time thing.
Right.
Are they still in contact with that person? You know, like, it's a lot of different things that would come into play, you know, like, to just, and plus a lot of people have deal breakers. Like, if that's something that you just cannot tolerate in a relationship, right, and you know that you won't be able to get over your partner cheating on you, then, you know, it's tough. I know that that's hard. And plus, you have to think about it too. You've been with somebody for 10 years, found out that they cheated on you 5 years ago. Your mind is going to be like, well, you're telling me about that, but what else could you have possibly done within those 5 years?
Exactly.
And then after this, can I even trust you and believe that it's not going to happen again? So,
and that's what brings
me to, I'm going to try my best to rebuild the trust, or do you just like go your separate ways at that? Because you know that it probably will never be there ever again.
See,
speaking for me,
in a relationship and marriage is different. Like, a relationship is easy to be like, all right, we don't have nothing together, so you cheated on me, you broke my trust, I'm out. In a marriage, it's like, we have a home together, we have kids together. Like, it's a lot of things to think about. And like, now like it said, it's all the terms around it. So if it's like a reoccurring thing, like I'm not gonna be married to somebody and I find my husband on Tinder.
Whoa,
Like,
that's a whole different like.
Unless
you
you
understand?
want me to go to jail. You want me to go to jail. Do
You understand?
go to
Like,
jail, sir?
it's the levels of it, and also, but if I find out 5 years past, like me personally, I'd rather my husband mess up and come to me and be like, "This is what happened." Because now 5 years, I'm thinking we're peachy, we're great, you're the best husband in the world, not knowing that this is what happened. So if I find out by the sake of my guardian angels up there, because they always be presenting the BS,
That was my next question.
like I'm
But
gonna
what's the
be
difference
more
if he
upset.
come to you and tell you it happened than if
But
you
that's my
find
next
out?
question. That's my
Because
next question. Time out. That's my next question. So it really depends on how I found out too. Because I've been in situations where a woman came to me and was like, "Yo, I'm coming to you as a woman." You know what I mean? Like, that would piss me off even more. Why is the next woman coming to me about someone I lay down with? You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna lose not only trust but respect. And I said this before. Once I lose respect for you, like, there's no reason for us to even have a conversation, because whatever you're saying to me right now is not connecting with me.
Yeah.
So it really depends on how I find out about that situation. If you came to me as a man and was like, "Yo, this happened, I want to let you know," whatever, we could probably talk something out. I don't know. I could probably work today. I don't know. But at least you're giving me that option to make that choice.
Because
Me from someone else, you've been lying to me for 5 years.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's never just one lie. It takes multiple lies to keep up with that one lie.
Exactly.
So you've literally been lying to me multiple times where you
Exactly.
could have came out and said what happened, because at the end of the day, let's be real, nobody is perfect, right? If I'm with you for 30 years, I know eventually you're going to mess up, right? Nobody is perfect, but you cannot sit on that. Like, you have to tell me that, because you've been lying constantly since that time. It's not just, oh, one lie, one mistake. You've been constantly lying. And plus, if you think you could just get away with it, you're insulting my intelligence.
And I want to add on to that too, because I feel like us as women, we know what's up. We know. We know. You not walking the same way you walked yesterday. You ain't closed the door the same way you closed the door yesterday.
I'm done.
Literally.
You know. You just know. You just know. You just know. The way you talk to me today is not the same way you talk to me for the past 5 years. Us as women, we just have something called intuition. Like, we just know something is not adding up. You know what I mean? So at some point in time, I probably might have asked you, and it might have been in like a passive type of way, but that conversation had to have come up. You know what I mean? Like, if something is not adding up right here, I need you to explain to me why we're not on the same page today, or why we haven't been on the same page in months. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, especially with me, the way I am, like, my radars are up all the time.
Oh, me too.
So
the vibes,
you
as soon as the vibe switches.
Exactly. You just know something is off, right? So for 5 years to go past, and at that point, I know for a fact I probably brought it up to you at least once, and you said, "Yo, I messed up," or whatever the situation would have happened. And now I'm finding out 5 years later, okay, not only did you cheat on me, I asked you about it, you lied to me. Now I'm questioning everything about you. You know, so it really depends on like how that information came to. It is a lot. I can't even answer that question, because I don't even know what I will do, to be real with you. I really don't.
No, I completely agree with that, because no, especially if I'm thinking, all right, I asked you the question, you might have answered correctly, and I'm thinking things are peachy keen for 5 years. No, I definitely rather know from like jump, because for me, like, it's like I can trust you more that you came to me first.
Exactly.
And I don't like to be embarrassed. That is my biggest thing. If I find via another woman that this is what happened, and I'm over here like posting my beautiful family. I'm so happy. I love my husband so much, and she knows something I don't know. That's a big problem for me.
Crazy. Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Like, we have a family, we have a
I'm going to
home.
jail
Like,
tonight.
no, you're
It's no
trying
good.
to interrupt my white picket fence.
Exactly.
No, I don't care. No.
Exactly.
Mm.
So I have a question for you guys, right? What is a deal breaker in a marriage other
There's
than
so many.
finances?
Like, are you like,
Oh,
if
damn.
they cheat
You
on
just
you,
took
if they have a whole relationship, they embarrass you, they talk little to you, they hit you. Like, it's all types of shit. Like, yeah. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
definitely abusive. Definitely. My thing with me too is I feel like if I don't feel supported as well. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out here hustling and running multiple businesses and all of that. So if I feel like you not showing up for me the way I show up for you, that's a problem for me. So of course,
Now,
being and lying and all of that, but that I feel like is huge. It is
yeah.
huge.
Now, do you think that these things already presented themselves? Like, say if you get into a marriage and you don't feel supported, do you think that that was kind of an underlying
I
thing in your relationship before you entered that
got
marriage?
Right. Right. You mean okay, so wait, ask the question again.
So, okay, so we're going to use the you don't feel supported in your marriage, right? Do you think that that kind of lurked in your relationship too when you just disregard, like it was a low-key red flag in your relationship too that you just ignored, and then now you're married and it's like in your face?
I don't know. My thing is too, I want to be like Ray said, I don't see myself committing myself 100% to someone where I didn't get that in a relationship anyway. So I don't see me saying I do, knowing that I'm not getting what I want out of that situation. And that goes for a lot of things too.
I
You know?
feel like marriage is such a trend
Yeah.
today instead of like the actual people are not willing to actually do the work. So I feel like that's why we have a higher divorce rate, because it's a trendy thing to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So going back to Raven's question is like, if you kind of know that in the back of your head you're having doubts, but the man proposes, 9 times out of 10, a girl's gonna say yes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because, oh my God, I'm wife material. I get supposed to ring. Maybe this will work out later. And it doesn't, even if y'all get to the whole, we've been married for 2-3 years, eventually that whole thing is going to come crashing down because
right.
those signs were there from the jump. You were kind of unsure from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Sorry.
think it's like, to enter that stage of marriage, like other than like how our parents and our grandparents, well, not my parents, like not our parents, but more of like our grandparents did it. They didn't really fully know. It was kind of like you date for a month and then you married, right? Like with us, we really have to spend that time to get to know that person, and like really have to be like, all right, I love them here, but can I also love them in their darkest sides of them? Like, can I also love the fact that they wake up some days and they be
Right.
aggravated for no
Mm-hmm.
reason? Like, like, can I deal with that? You really have to evaluate what you can deal with, because me personally, I'm not getting married if I don't see longevity.
Yeah.
If I don't see a future, no, don't even bother proposing.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I want to say marriage isn't a trend. I feel like weddings, these big ass extravagant weddings is the trend. I feel like a lot of women especially, we have this perception or we have this dream wedding, and of course when somebody married wants to propose to you or whatever, that's what you're looking for. That's what you're looking towards. Um and then like you have this big wedding, and then what happens after that? So I brought that up too because when the fellas were on the live, they were bringing up extravagant weddings and rings and all of that. But like, that's all material shit. Like, that's not going to help us when we're at our darkest moments. You know what I mean? So I'm cool with cool, with going to the courthouse and getting married. Like, I'm cool with that.
Mhm.
As long as, like, we're both on the same page when it comes to life. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I think it's really, like, these extravagant weddings that's the trend now. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna show off your ring, cool, whatever. But what happens after that? What conversations are we having? What
Mhm.
life are we building? Who's paying what bills? Like, those are the assets that I'm looking forward to,
Yeah.
you know?
And I feel
I
like
have a
that all
question
has to
for
be
y'all.
ironed out before that.
What?
Huh?
I have a question for y'all.
Yes.
So let's say, I don't think this is on topic of what y'all talking about, but it's about marriage. So let's say you're with somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And y'all are in a relationship, you're living together, maybe you have kids together, maybe you don't have kids together. Couple, like, years go by, you guys are just, living life together, and he has not proposed yet. Would you give him an ultimatum to propose to you, or would you just let it happen?
See, that's difficult because if I give him an ultimatum, I'm going to feel like this
I'm
is not
forced.
something he wanted to do. So he's not fully in it from the beginning.
Right.
You know, but also on the other hand, me personally, I'm not going to be with somebody we living together for decades and I'm a 50-year-old girlfriend. Like, I'm not doing it.
I'm not a long time girlfriend. I'm not a
So
long
at
term.
what point do you either say something or do you let it go?
I feel like that should have been a conversation that should have been happening throughout your relationship. Like, okay, like, is this something that you're looking for? Because a lot of men will tell you straight up, like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm married. You know what I
Right,
mean?
but what if he says yes, that is something that he wants to do at some point in his life, but at his point in his life is not your same point in your life.
Yeah, I gotta work on.
But it's also like,
Do you
if
wait?
y'all were together for decades, what point in his life he's comfortable? You know,
But
like
that's what I'm
he's
saying. But that's what
comfortable
I'm
with.
saying. Like, when do you decide to be like, I can't do this. I want to
Oh,
be
wait. Okay.
married,
Is the
or
question like, do you
what do you,
guys
what do you
have
do?
children? Are you guys already living together? Like, it's all of that already?
Yeah, you can have children. You don't have to have children, but you're living
The only reason
together
I
and
ask
you've been
that is
in a
because
long-term
if
relationship.
you're already living together, you already share everything, you already basically living like a marriage. If I was the man, I'm playing devil's advocate, what is the point of getting married? Like, my mom used to say, like, why would somebody pay for the cow if they get the milk for free? You know what I'm saying? So why
No,
would
right.
someone want to get married when you haven't demanded in the relationship this whole time that that's something that you have to do before y'all can play house? You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, so because it has to already be
Mm.
said. Like, me, I'm very vocal. Like, if I feel any kind of anything, I could be tripping, I could be PMS, and I could be all kind of shit, and I'll be like, now I feel this kind of way when you do such and such. So, like, whatever I feel, the man that I'm dealing
Yeah.
with is for sure going to know. Like, Raven's told me this before. Like, she said this, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't even I don't never say never, but I would hope that I would never get to the point where, like, we're sharing bills, we're like, sharing rent or whatever. We live together, we have children, and the conversation of marriage soon has not come up, because then, like, what are we doing? So
Yeah.
Right. What's the point? Right.
Exactly. And then I kind of feel like a man already knows if that's the type of person you are. I'm
right,
also very vocal, like almost too
Yep.
vocal.
Yep.
But if that's the type of person
right.
you are, then he kind of already has that idea. And then the fact that he already has that idea and doesn't feel the need to act on it, and that's a different problem. Like,
Mhm.
I fully agree with what Raven said. If he's getting all of that wife qualities and like,
You fucked up.
what do I need to put a ring on it for?
Right. You fucked up. You messed up. You messed
It's like, why would I
But it
change something
happens
that's
though.
clearly
Like,
already
it
working in my
happens.
favor?
Like,
Mhm.
it happens where, like, you find yourself in a
Yeah.
situation,
Yeah.
like, well, damn, how am I gonna ask this man to do this when he already get everything, already? So then at that point,
Yeah.
do you just be like, you know what, let me start
Yeah.
over with somebody else, or are you just like,
Right.
exactly, like, do you deal with
Because
the
you didn't did a bit
consequences of
already.
your own
That's
actions,
crazy.
really? Like, you know what
Bit.
I mean?
Mm-hmm. But I do feel like that needs to be a conversation from jump, or like early stages of relationship. Like, all right, well, what's your timeline on certain? I'm such a fan of asking questions. Like, I will ask 10,000 questions because I'm trying to know every single thing about you, so it's not a surprise down the line, right? What do you think is an appropriate timeline for somebody to be dating until they get married? Even if he says, yeah, I want to get married, that question will give you your answer.
Yeah.
You take it a step further with that question, and he's gonna be like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, someone said marriage has become a business decision. Depending on the state, common law gives you the
I
same
do agree that
legal
marriage
right.
is a business decision. Like, I 100% believe that. I feel like you should marry anybody that you don't feel like is going to help you grow in some capacity. Both of you. Like, you guys are joining forces, so you should be equally as strong and like be able to build each other up. I think it's a business decision for sure.
I agree with that some way, because also if you go into marriage thinking it's just a business decision, then you're not going to marriage thinking
I'm not saying
with the mentality to whether all those
but I feel like,
you know what I'm saying?
You can't. Me too. I might sound like Corella DeVille, but I feel like you cannot just marry because you love somebody. Like, it has to be a smart decision. Like, I can't marry you because you can also marry somebody who can bring you down also. So like, you could be in love with a bum, but you should marry one. You know what I'm saying? Like, right? So it should be all of those things should be considered. Like, and that goes down to being like, not even financially. Like, I want to see if you have ambition, because that's something you cannot teach. Like, I want to see, like, if I'm doing bad, how are you going to do even better to support me in you? You're doing bad. I have to have enough hustle in me to be like, all right, babe, I got us until you got, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to have that. If somebody lacks that in a relationship, it's dangerous. And then you get into a situation where you get into a bump in the road and you guys can't go over it because this person can't pedal fast enough, or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? So
Also piggybacking off of that, it's like, oh shoot, I just lost my train of thought. You said that, everybody has to be doing, if one person's doing bad, the other. You also have to be able to. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, guys. I completely lost my train of thought. I'm like over here trying to find it, and it's not coming to me.
But that kind of, I said this a little earlier too, where it's like, I hate when people say relationships are 50-50. I hate that, because I don't feel like that's the case all the time. Because there are going to be days where I do not feel like giving you this 50% of anything. You better take the 10% and live your best life. And you better make sure you bring that 90% to the table so that it 100. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think exactly what you just said, right? Like, there's times where we just need to figure things out. I don't know. Look, you found your thought.
I remembered it. It came like the light bulb. Okay. So what I was saying is also, like, you have to be able to be in a marriage with somebody who does not get uncomfortable with your ambition, right? So if I want to start 25 businesses, that needs to be the person that has my back. Okay, babe. So how you going to do it? What you want to do? You know what I'm saying? How can I help? It can't be like, oh, like me personally, I used to want to be like a housewife, right?
Did you?
It sounds good not having to work. But this is like, this is like 18-year-old Lauren talking, right? 30-year-old Lauren knows that she could never be a housewife. Like, I can't. I get itchy. I have to move. I have to do something. I like being in, like, charge of things. I like making my own money. It's cringy. The thought of depending on somebody, like, makes me cringe. Like, so it's like, you have to be comfortable with that fact that I am not going to be that person. That means you have to know me wholeheartedly, right? Cool. I can be a housewife if I have my own business. Like, I can run my own business and make my own schedule so I can be home when the kids, need me to be and things like that. But I
It's still
cannot,
not fun. It's still no fun. Trust me.
I cannot not work at all. Like, I need to be doing something, or like, yeah, I could do it if I'm bringing in my own income.
Right.
I have to bring in my own income. I wasn't raised to depend on a man for anything. So it's just that's the thing, that like you have to be able to sometimes my ideas are crazy. Tell me my ideas are crazy, but you have to be able to like have my back with my ambition. Like, I like you to match it, but I also want you to have my back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Sonia,
with the YouTube though, you
Right.
listen, YouTube, you're bringing in your own money. See,
yeah,
that's different.
that is. Yep. Ladies, this is a really great conversation.
Yeah.
Really great.
So let me ask you, y'all, the question, because I asked it earlier, but I don't think, Raven, you were on. Were you on? I don't know. Shari, you definitely weren't on. Do you think that educated Black women have it harder in terms of finding someone to marry and getting married? And I'm going to add to it. If you do think it's harder,
What is that reason?
what is the reason?
Oh God, Jesus.
What is that reason?
I don't think it's harder. I really have to think. I don't think it's harder. I'm sorry. Okay, the question is it harder to get into a relationship, or is it harder to get into, like, to find somebody to potentially marry?
To get to the stage of marriage as an educated Black woman.
I don't know. I feel like I've met a lot of people where, like, if they are highly educated, they have a very strong opinion on marriage, whether it's absolutely not, and these are their logical reasons, or absolutely, and these are their reasons. I don't feel like it's more difficult. I have, like, maybe, like, when I was younger, I have come to the realization that sometimes you meet people and, like, you have a natural kind of, like, aura about you, right? And sometimes that comes from just being knowledgeable about certain things. And people will try to, like, hold that against you or whatever. So I have found that. But I don't think that finding, like, somebody that you could potentially marry is an issue because you're more educated. I don't think so. Because a lot of our generation is educated. Like, so.
Educated. I think us as educated Black women, I think the pool becomes shallow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a lot to pick from, if that makes sense.
It's not a lot to pick from, period.
I know, but I feel like for someone to be on like our caliber, the pool is a lot shallower.
Yeah.
To really, like, and most of the men in the pool already living their best life with their wives and girlfriends or whatever. So the pool becomes a little smaller to choose from. Why does Ray keep doing that?
I agree with that. Because if we're talking like what we said earlier in terms of, like, you have to match me on a financial level for me to feel comfortable in that marriage, that makes that pool that much smaller, right? Because it's like, all right, a lot of people, if you're highly educated and you're making that salary, you need to find somebody that's highly educated and making that salary. Or he may not be highly educated because college is not for everybody, but he can be an entrepreneur making that salary. He can be, doing whatever artistically and making that salary. But the fact that that's one of the reasons why marriages end in divorce, we know that. So we're not just going to go and, like, jump and say yes to anybody. I feel like our standards are naturally higher.
Exactly.
I do have another question. I don't know what happened to Raven because it's would have been a perfect question. Okay. So one of the statistics that I said earlier was also that Black women in small towns have way higher marriage rates, right? So 30% of Black people in general get married, right? Just to recap. 48% of Black women have never been married. But the percentage of Black women that have been married or are married are primarily in these smaller towns. Do y'all like, how do you feel about being from New York and like having to deal with this in New York? What does that statistic make you think about?
Maybe I need to move to a smaller town.
I can start. Okay, so my longest relationship was with somebody that was from a small town in the country, in the South, right? Because I went to school down South. So that was my longest relationship. And I made the decision that I needed to come back to New York. Couldn't do it. Needed to come back to New York. But I know that if I would have stayed in Virginia, in that town, then I would have been married. I would have had kids. Like, all of this before age 27, So, but I feel like in those towns, like, it's really nothing else. That's what you do. It's just, that's what you do. The man goes to work. He may work at like one or two places where everybody in the town works. Yeah. And, the woman stays home and she takes care of the kids. Like, that's a small town vibe, especially down South.
I can't live like that.
In New York, it's like, if you're from New York, you kind of instilled with that hustle, that ambition. People that are coming to New York are coming to make it big, right? To make something out of themselves if they're coming from those small towns. So our mentality is not on family first, right? Down South in them small towns, it's family first. And it's also like, I don't care if I'm unsure about this person. I don't care if I'm like, this may not be the right thing. I know the goal, what's been instilled in me, is marriage, family, and then maybe the other stuff, then a hobby or something,
Hey, girl.
Right? Did you hear what I said?
I'm sorry, my phone died. I was highly upset.
So basically, I just said that one of the statistics.
Where my phone is on like 20%.
I can't. DC, DC is my angle. But I said one of the statistics said that Black women in small towns have higher marriage rates, right? And by the way, DC is not a small town. Let's talk about it. But what I was saying is, like, do you guys agree with that? Can y'all, like, what does that make you feel like, being that we live in New York? We're in a large town, Black women in small towns. Out of that 30% of Black people that get married, the higher percentage is in small towns. And I said, with me, I know that one of my longest relationship was with somebody in a small town. And if I would have chose to stay in that small town instead of coming to New York, then that would have been my life. But I also wouldn't have been this person with the businesses, with the 9 to 5. Like, I would have probably been married and a mom. And that's
right.
it.
I think it depends.
Wait, you said married and a what?
And a mom.
Oh, I thought you said
pick me.
It really depends on the person, what they want. To be honest,
in small towns, I just feel like marriage is higher on the priority list.
Yeah.
Than it is from somebody from a big city. Like, I'm from the Bay. Like, that's a big city. Like, it's not, San Francisco is a big city. And I came to New York, an even bigger city, because I like the hustle and bustle. Like, you make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Mm-hmm. So marriage wasn't on my agenda, even though I got here in 3 months and that's what it was. But like, that wasn't on my, it wasn't super high on my priority list either. So
yeah, that's what I said. I said that's kind of instilled in people from small towns. Like, in New York, we're born in New York. We're more about the hustle. We're more about making money. We're more about like making ourselves something before we enter into a partnership with somebody else. Down South, it's more about like building that family first. Building that family foundation. Like, you find somebody, you might have been with them from freaking freshman year in high school, and now you're 25 with 3 kids by this person, and they may not be a great person, but it's because that's what's instilled in you that you go along with that whole marriage and kids and dynamic.
But then also, like, okay, you know, here I come with the devil's advocate, right? Also in the South, it's more affordable to get a home
Yes.
and stuff like that.
Yes.
So I know, like, my friend Demetrius, right? Like, he was saying that his friends
Shout out to
bought
Demetrius.
homes.
He went to Hampton too.
Right. They bought homes at 20 and 21 years
Yeah.
old. So like
Yeah.
you're buying a home, of course you're married, and then of course here comes children, and then right, and then it's not fair to say they're not doing like businesses and stuff like that, because they do, but they have it easier to buy a home and build a home than somebody in the city does.
Right.
Like, I wish I could buy a home in Brooklyn. Right. Like, it's different. So they have multiple bedrooms, they have that backyard, and they're 20 something years old. So of course, all right, you getting married, and then you're in this beautiful home, just you and your husband. Y'all need some kids, so of course you're gonna have some kids. Like, that's just the natural occurrence of just life. That's just what's gonna happen. So I think it's just a different mentality there. Like,
now,
in New York, everybody's on top of each other. They're trying to get out and get their own kind of situation. So, but
now, do you think if that was the case in New York, like say you're living in New York and you can afford a home for that amount of money, would you be inclined, the person that you are, would you be inclined to be like, all right, I need to find somebody to marry and settle down with?
I don't know. Like, honestly, I wish that I could have met somebody in high school that I fell in love with and we got married. And I hate to date. Like, dating is hella annoying. Like, nobody likes to do that, really. Like, I just want my person, and then, like, that's it. But I don't know. I don't know. I would think that I would have the same ambitions and want to do the same thing. So whether that was in somewhere in the South, or, you know, I just so happened to be born in the city. I went to college in Los Angeles. Like, I've always been in the city. I have no desire to be in the South, really. Not to knock anybody from the South. That's just not really my thing.
Yeah. And that's my kind of point with, it's really mindset, because somebody who's from the city, I'm from the city, but I was down south, you know what I'm saying? So I had that opportunity with that relationship that I was in to be that person, you know? Like, yes, we could get a house for freaking $900 a month would be our mortgage. Like, that's $450.
Woo, could you imagine?
That's literally senior year in college. Me and my roommate, we're going to rent a house, like, because it's affordable. But at the same time, it's like, Lauren, you can do this. And I had to make that decision. It was like, Lauren, you can do this. Stay with this person. Stay in Virginia. And then, you know, the money you spend on your degree really doesn't matter. Like, if I work somewhere, it'd probably just be for pocket change or whatever the case may be. Or you can go back home when you know there's more opportunities. The person may not be there, but you can be who you feel like you need to be. And you can make the money and be that person and live out your dreams. The only thing that's lacking is you won't have a family immediately. You won't have that person immediately. You won't get married immediately. It's like, my mindset, because I was built from a big city, is always going to gravitate me to the hustle first. Because I personally, I don't want to have, like, be in a marriage or have kids before I reach a certain level, like financially, before I reach a certain level in my goals and things like that.
Right. Woo! This is why we say this is therapy for Black girls.
For real. Amen.
There's a lot that we could discuss in this topic. There's a lot that goes with it, honestly.
Yeah. And it's also, the statistics are really depressing, honestly. Like, I said that, stop making me say this word. Statistics are really depressing if you look at it.
Statistics.
Yeah. So
this is why we're trying to break these generational curses.
Yeah.
We're trying.
But also, though, like, if you're in a relationship, even if you're married and it's just not it, like get out of it. Like
Yeah.
I've seen too many people who are like, I'm married. I know so many people who are married and don't like live together, haven't lived together in a minute, like don't really deal with each other. Like that's not marriage to me. You might as well let that go. Like, you know what I mean?
Or the people who are married because it's too expensive to get a divorce.
Yeah, like it's cheaper to keep her. Like, sorry, sir.
Yeah.
I'm living.
And also, okay, because I'm gonna throw this out there because y'all know I like to stir the pot a little bit. Like open marriages, I don't understand. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Be single.
Why are you married? Right.
Why you or just like.
I mean, I'm just not okay. Don't judge me. Okay, I know y'all are like, what are you gonna say? I'm not judgmental to any relationship. If it works for them, it works for them. Me personally, I'm territorial. So if I see somebody else giving my husband love or being on them, I'm going to feel some type of way. You already know me. But if it works for somebody else, fine. Just like if you want to be in a poly relationship and it works for you, cool. As long as you, I mean, I don't care because I'm the outsider, but as long as you know, like, love each one of those people equally, okay, cool. That's up to you. But I'm not judging anybody's relationship because I've seen too many traditional relationships not work. So if an unconventional relationship is working, who am I to be like, that's not how it's supposed to be?
Right.
You know what I mean? If that's how it works, like Will and Jada, all right, y'all want to be like in an open relationship? Cool. That works for y'all, obviously.
Jada got them hoes. Jada.
I was about to say,
fire. Jada looked the same since she was like,
right.
I think that was little Jada.
Jada.
No, Will was supposed to be doing some shit too. I don't know, but whatever the situation is, they have their understanding. They have their understanding, and they both have buku money. So, like, who am I to say anything's not? I don't know. Y'all want to be in an open relationship? Okay, that works for y'all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, ladies. We need this. I need this.
Yes.
Yeah,
therapeutic.
I wish big rocks on all my friends that want to get married.
Word.
Yeah, so what's the vote? Like, what's the vote?
Whoop, whoop.
Who believes in marriage? Like,
I believe in marriage.
I believe
y'all all believe in marriage.
Yeah.
Sherry, you believe in marriage?
Except Sherry. Sherry's the odd one out.
Nope, I don't believe in it.
Listen, you gonna marry me.
Dude,
if I do, but I want to say, if I was, you know, out here dating, right, and I did find a man who I felt like, because I'm pretty sure I'm not opposed to love relationships. I'm not opposed to none of that. I would love that, but because of my past situation and because of my situations now, like, I come with a lot of shit. So it's very difficult for me to be out here in this dating world with all of the shit that I come with. You understand? It's not easy. So it's kind of like, I think I use that as I don't know.
An excuse?
Maybe, right? To just... It's possible. I'll admit it. I probably do use it as an excuse to be like, I'll just stay the way I am because, you know, nobody gonna want me because of such and such. You know what I'm saying? But there's somebody out there for everybody.
I was about to say, because what's the point of even dating though?
Right.
If you seeing it that way, then you might as well just not date.
Can't say that.
Oh my God.
I'm getting off this phone. I'm getting off.
I can't.
Lori, y'all listen. Y'all know how I am, and it's not. Of course.
Sherry
I would
be
love
like,
to find.
He has a hangnail on his finger.
I would be like, no, he just breathes really loud. Like, I just can't do it. Like, have you listened to him chew? Like, nah, it's not for me, dog. No.
He asked me a question yesterday.
Right.
Next caller.
He asked me a question.
Yeah.
For real, that's Sherry. Like, no. Mm-mm. Every time I go out with you, it rains. Like, no, you're bad vibes. Like,
you're bad vibes.
can't.
But I also
know.
do. I also
Yo, but y'all know my situation, and it's like, to me,
Mm.
I feel like I don't have any more time to waste. So it's like,
yeah.
if I see something from jump, like this whole shit going around with these red flags, you know, this red flag post that's
Oh
going
yeah.
on, like that should be like, oh my god.
I can tell you, I done dealt with every red flag
Listen.
out there. But like, I think it comes down to the people who are worth overseeing those minor red flags. Because the big ones you can't get over. Those
Right.
should be deal
Right.
breakers. But if it's
Yeah.
like a yellow instead of a red,
Not a yellow.
yeah,
Let me
you know,
follow up.
No yellow, no yellow, right?
no yellow. Everything, you know, nobody's
Everything gotta be
perfect.
green.
It just
No,
happens
I
what
know,
you can
hell no.
personally deal
Obviously,
with.
everything ain't got to be green, but like,
Yeah.
but yeah, just hope that yellow don't turn into red, because then it's over.
Yeah, if the
And
Right.
then
yellow turns into red,
at
then
what point do you have like all these yellows, and then you're like, at what
oh
point is
no.
that just potential? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
because
No,
I'm
because
sure we've all fallen in love with potential. I'm
Potential.
yeah, but you
sure.
can't marry potential.
No,
You cannot
no, you
marry
can't.
potential. You
Pretty sure
can't.
that's why I'm not married.
So in the last couple of minutes that we have, I'm gonna throw this out there. How do y'all feel about interracial marriage?
I'm with it.
Yes, I don't care about
I'm
none of that.
100% with all the shits.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's been swirls down my line, so you know,
I'm
I've
sorry.
never,
Love is
I've
not
love.
never
my
really
line personally,
Love
but
is
swirled.
my
love.
family line.
I've never swirled, but I don't have a
I've
problem with
never
it.
personally swirled, but I
Yeah.
mean, I don't see any.
I believe in black
Love
love.
is love.
There's nothing. I don't have anything against interracial love, but I'm all for black love. I'm sorry.
I'm with that still.
I can't see me.
Not the fits.
I mean, there's
So
nothing finer in this world than a black man to
yes,
me.
and my preference will
In this
always,
world,
Exactly.
like
first and
an
foremost, be
educated,
a black man.
tall black man is like
Yeah.
wrapped up in a bow. Give them to me, yum.
And I want to I mean, my babies will be black regardless, but you know, like raise little pro-black babies, you know.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
But
Exactly.
I'm not saying that I would personally, because I've never dated outside of my race. I'm not saying that I will never do it, but it's just never been a thing for me.
Yeah.
But I don't, as a black woman, like if somebody else is dating outside their race, I don't think that's
A problem.
a problem at all. Like people make it more of a problem, but I feel like we're in 2021 now. Like it is what it is. Like
Right.
now, now flip side, if it's a black man dating outside of his race, cool. But if he feels the need to talk down on black women for the reason why he's dating outside of his race,
Yeah.
that's where it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a problem with that.
Because it be the ones out there like that, and it's like, wait, but isn't your mom black?
Right.
You know,
What a black. Right.
that I don't understand.
But those are the ones that usually get hurt by a black woman, and then they like
Yes.
Right.
can't
Yeah.
deal with it. So like they have their own issues. They need their own
Yeah.
therapy sessions.
Right.
So
Yeah. They got their own reasons why they like that.
Therapy and counseling works. I'm not
that's
sure
a fact.
where this whole stigma came into play, where we people don't need to have counseling. Listen, we need counseling. I feel like even if you feel like you don't need it, you do need it.
Now, do you think marriage counseling should start before y'all have issues, like major issues? Me too.
Absolutely. Before
Hell
I
yeah.
walk down the aisle, before I even say
I feel like relationships should have counseling. Am I wrong?
I
feel like we
Yes.
have
Oh, yeah,
relationship
definitely.
counseling.
Yes.
I always
Things would be
wonder
open.
sometimes, like if I would have if earlier in my relationship when we was having issues, if I would have went to counseling, if we would still be together.
relationship.
But it
I
also has
wasn't.
to be
Mutual.
something that both people want to do.
Yeah.
And that was
right?
the thing. Yeah.
And a
At that
lot
time, it was only me wanting it.
Exactly.
And then after the fact, then it was like, oh, well, let's go to counseling. Oh, but when I wanted to go to counseling, you didn't want to go. Now I don't want to do it because now it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it also is like, you want to go now because you're seeing
I'm ready to go. Right.
Yeah.
Out
It's
the door.
not you wanting to naturally just better our situation.
Right.
You're
Right.
panicking now. Right? And who's to say that y'all go to counseling and you're really going to be present in counseling?
Right.
You're just there to say that you did it.
Did it.
or you tried, right? Or you tried.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. So I think, but I definitely think, yeah, if relationship counseling could be a thing, if I could afford, definitely do that now. But I
Please.
definitely think counseling in a marriage should come before it's
Absolutely.
a problem, before an issue happens. Like a lot of marriages be like, okay, we're having issues, let's go to the marriage counselor. No, this needs to be something, talking about it and having a third party weigh on things should be from jump.
Yes.
I know some churches will not allow you to get married if you don't
Unless you
first
do
go through
Exactly.
counseling, which I think is brilliant also, because then it's like, wouldn't you want to uncover everything before you get married first? Like, so that even if, God forbid, you wanted to call it off, but at least you would call it off then before, like, you're a running bride.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. A lot of people get out of that though, because a lot of the trend now is to not get married in churches. Like I told my mother I did not want to get married in a church. Mind you, my mama is a deacon. She had, what do you mean? Well, where would you get married? And I'm like, oh girl, I got it all planned out. Like but here's the joke. She didn't even get married in a church. She got married outside on the island.
Yo, it be your own mother. It be your own mother.
What is the joke? She
It
was
be your
really
own
like
mother.
beefing with me for a whole 48 hours. I don't have a ring on my finger and you're beefing with me about a hypothetical situation because I don't want to get married in a church. I'm like, that's not the aesthetic that I'm really going for.
Right, like I don't know. I'm trying to wear
my mother's extremely fair skinned, so she turned red. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
It's
but
not
no, and that's
it's not giving.
Yeah, it's not giving. Like it's just not giving what I have a preacher there, but no, I feel like I'm a believer. I love the Lord, but I don't be in church every Sunday. So why would I just get married in a church? So that was the thing. Also, y'all watch Married at First Sight? I could never.
Of course.
I could never. Couldn't be me.
Oh, I could.
You could?
Oh, 1,000.
You trust the expert?
You would do that,
now. Right? Maybe not right now because of my situation, but absolutely, I will 1,000% do that. 1,000%. We would have to get real married a year later so I can have my dream wedding.
Yes.
But yes, I would absolutely do that. If I felt like some experts put together some kind of test and analyze all these things and they found my match for me, why not do it?
Also, they be getting it wrong, and I tell from jump.
I've never watched it.
But sometimes they get it wrong. But sometimes you And then sometimes also people say what they think they want, and then they get in that situation and they have that exact person they described, and then they're like, no, I don't want this.
Yes. And I can tell, me and Barb will sit there and I'd be like, first episode, he don't really like her, they're not gonna laugh. And he's like, how do you know? And I'm always right. I pick up on it. So I feel like if they put me in a situation, I'm probably first day, I'm gonna be like, yeah, this is great. Cool. Got to practice this walk down the aisle, but this is not gonna work.
But you don't know that though.
That for sure would
remember
be
the first I don't know if you guys been watching it, but I was watching it from the very, very, very first episode. Remember there was the tall guy with the acne, and then there was the blonde girl from the trailer park or whatever.
I haven't watched. I started at season 7, 8.
Okay, well, whatever the case is, she wasn't attracted to him. She did not like him. Nothing. After this, I don't know, maybe second week, it was she understood why they matched her, and now they got 4 kids, and
I love those. And also another thing with that show is I can never just let it go to the end. Some way close to the end, I start on finding people's Instagrams to see if they're still together.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah, I ruined it for me.
We got 50 seconds left, so we're gonna.
Okay, so we don't have a topic for next week yet.
We're
gonna work on that.
Yeah,
but same time next week. 8 p.m. Thursdays is the day.
Thank you guys.
This was awesome.
Thank you for joining us, guys.
Gang, gang. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.